evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television, read to you by Khalid Al-Jadidi. First, the headlines. Assigned by His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Said participates in the coronation ceremony of His Majesty the King of the United Kingdom in London. Israeli troops killed 2 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. And Riyadh and Washington welcome the preliminary talks in Jeddah between the warring parties and urged them to end the conflict that devastated Sudan. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. Assigned by His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Said participated in the coronation ceremony of His Majesty King Charles III of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland and President of the Commonwealth. The ceremony of King Charles III was held in Westminster Abbey in the capital city of London, in a historical ceremony and traditions dating back to more than 1,000 years. The ceremony was attended by presidents and representatives from more than 200 countries, along with UK elites, in one of the grandest ceremonial events witnessed in the United Kingdom year after 70 years of Queen Elizabeth's ruling. King Charles III assumed monarchy at the age of 74, becoming one of the most senior UK rulers to be crowned with St. Edward's crown, which dates back to 360 years.
احفظ الملك.
His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Said participated in the official reception hosted by His Majesty the King at Buckingham Palace in the British capital, London, in honor of the official delegations participating in his coronation ceremonies as King of the United Kingdom. During his meeting with His Majesty the King, His Highness conveyed the greetings of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and his best wishes to His Majesty the King for good health and lasting success, and to the friendly British people for progress and prosperity. From his part, His Majesty King Charles III asked His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Said to convey his greetings and appreciation to His Majesty the Sultan and his sincere wishes to His Majesty for good health and long life, and for the Omani people further progress and development. Israeli troops killed 2 Palestinians today in the occupied West Bank as the army claimed to have targeted the perpetrators of a shooting attack. 2 martyrs shot by the occupation Israeli forces arrived at a government hospital in the city of Tulkarm, and 1 other person was injured in the raid, the health ministry said in a statement. Hundreds of mourners later gathered for the funerals of the 2 men whose bodies, shrouded in the Palestinian flag, were carried through the streets of Tulkarm. A comprehensive strike was called in Tulkarm Governorate by local authorities in response to the operation. The latest violence brings to 108 the number of Palestinians killed in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict so far this year. Envoys of Sudan's army and paramilitary rapid support forces are in Jeddah for talks, Saudi Arabia's foreign ministry said, as the gathering's international mediators pressed for an end to a conflict that has devastated the country. The U.S.-Saudi initiative is the first serious attempt to end 3 weeks of fighting that have had turned parts of the Sudanese capital Khartoum into war zones and derailed an internationally backed plan to usher in civilian rule following years of unrest and uprisings. Riyadh and Washington earlier welcomed the pre-negotiation talks between the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, and urged them to actively engage following numerous violated ceasefires. Aftershocks shook Japan a day after a powerful earthquake left at least one person dead, with officials assessing damage today from the jolt that destroyed several buildings. The 6.5 magnitude quake hit the central Ishikawa region mid-afternoon yesterday at a depth of 12 kilometers, according to the Japan Meteorological Agency. More than 50 aftershocks, some of them strong, had occurred this morning, the agency said, as it warned that heavy rain could trigger landslides in the area. According to Japan's Disaster Management Agency, at least 29 people had been injured. An official from Suzu in Ishikawa Prefecture, the hardest hit city, said that 2 people trapped inside destroyed buildings were rescued and around 50 people had moved to evacuation centers set up at schools and the city hall. Some residents were seen clearing rubble in the rain after their wooden houses were partially destroyed. Water outages affected more than 3 dozen households in Suzu, officials said today, adding that the city had provided temporary public supplies after running water had turned brown in parts of the region. At least 200 people have died in flash floods in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo after heavy rain destroyed buildings and forced aid workers to gather mud-clad corpses into piles. Red Cross workers in blue scrubs placed bodies were covered in dirt on top of each other. The rainfall in the Kalehe territory in South Kivu province caused rivers to overflow on Thursday, inundating the villages of Bushushu and Yamukubi. Dozens of survivors were being treated at a local hospital after sustaining injuries during the flood. South Kivu shares a border with Rwanda and was also hit by heavy rains, which triggered flooding and landslides this week, killing 130 people and destroying more than 5,000 homes. Still to come in our news bulletin. Awareness programs on biodiversity attract school and college students in the Wilaya of Sohar to take action to protect nature. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Muscat Stock Exchange recorded best trading in April 2023 with more than 122 million Omani Riyals taking advantage of the increase in trading in a number of shares and bonds. Trading value increased by 30.7% in April 2023 compared to the value in March 2023, which recorded over 93 million Omani Riyals. Despite the initial start of 52.4 million Omani Riyals at the beginning of this year, the trading value increased due to the listing of Abraj in energy services and the approval of dividends from some listed companies in March and April. The Parents' Council in the Wilaya of Saham held an honoring ceremony for 490 high-performing students for the current school year. The student honoring ceremony was attended by parents who came to share the joy of their children and teachers who contributed in assisting students in their studies. The ceremony came in recognition of the students' hard-earned school achievements and to aspire other students to follow suit. The honoring ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Abdullah al-Battashi, Wali of Saham. Al-Sharqiyya University held a celebration to mark its annual day, during which it launched the Endowment Chair for Education. More details in the following report.
Celebrating more than 10 years since its inception, with various achievements attained at the academic and administrative levels, Al-Sharqiyya University launched the Endowment Chair for Education. The celebration also featured a lecture on endowments in the Sultanate of Oman, a cultural heritage and a future vision. In the coming years, Al-Sharqiyya University seeks to put forward initiatives that will enhance its role in the local and regional arenas. It will also equip its graduates not only with proper knowledge in their field of specializations, but also with a profound appreciation of their culture and the role expected of them in building their communities.
The college is celebrating the event of the university, Sharqiyya University Day, contributing in so many achievements throughout the academic year, last academic year, including participating in different program initiation and adding new program, and also advising in different programs as well. The also opening new laboratories for teaching of the profession of medical laboratory, and having different MOUs with different universities in order to have cooperation and collaboration between the college and the university represented in the college and other institutions in Oman.
The ceremony included honoring a number of distinguished university employees and students, honoring a number of public and private institutions that supported the activities and events of the university in the past academic year, in addition to opening the accompanying exhibition. Salih bin Khalfan al-Rahbi, Sultanate of Oman Television, North Al-Sharqiyya Governorate.
An environment awareness campaign under the theme Environmental Gathering was launched in the Wilaya of Sohar in the Governorate of North Batina. The campaign included a variety of educational programs and activities that focused on biodiversity and how to preserve animals, plants, and their natural habitats by encouraging good habits in the community in general and school students in specific. The campaign included also live shows, cultural competitions, music performances, and an exhibition on the Environmental Gathering campaign. School and college students participated in the campaign that was organized by the Environment Authority. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Assigned by His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Saeed participates in the coronation ceremony of His Majesty the King of the United Kingdom in London. Israeli troops kill 2 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. And Riyadh and Washington welcomed the preliminary talks in Jeddah between the warring parties and urged them to end the conflict that devastated Sudan. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay safe.